Hundreds of young girls, fast asleep in their beds, are awakened by the sound of gunfire. Armed attackers have stormed their boarding school and set fire to dozens of buildings. Nearly 300 of them are dragged from their dorm, loaded onto trucks, and carried away deep into the forest. Amina Shawak is one of the lucky ones. She made a run for it and escaped. We thought they were soldiers, and they asked us to board a vehicle, she says, which was headed towards Damboa. And my friends and I jumped from the vehicle and ran back home. Authorities say this was another brazen attack by the jihadist terror group Boko Haram, whose name means Western education is forbidden. The group's aim to establish Islamic law. Amnesty International says in just the first 3 months of this year, more than 1,500 people have died as a result of the insurgency in northeastern Nigeria. 1,500. They've attacked churches, mosques, and markets. Entire villages have been razed to the ground, residents killed in firebomb attacks, shot, or hacked to death. This time, their targets were young girls. It's not the first time they've kidnapped young girls. In November, dozens were rescued during a raid by Nigerian security services. Some were pregnant, some had babies, and others were forced into marrying their kidnappers. And Boko Haram's campaign of terror is expanding. The same day the girls from Chibok were kidnapped, the militants carried out an attack on a crowded bus station in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, killing 71 people and wounding more than 130. What I see all around me here, in addition to the shards of glass and the hunks of metal torn from the sides of these buses by the force of this blast, are personal belongings, and they're mixed with human blood and tissue. Attacks like this have become part of the reality of everyday life here. But this latest kidnapping has gripped the heart of the nation and exposed the inability of Nigeria's government to protect its citizens.
I'm a young mother, so I can't imagine any mother going through this. It's disheartening, it's shocking that our government hasn't even made any official statements. All we keep hearing are lies. Everybody's saying one thing or the other, but they are not true. We need to hear the truth.
Close to 3 weeks later, no one can say exactly how many girls are actually missing. Authorities put the number at more than 220, but have said that could grow. Officials have not released their names or photos, and the military has refused to share information about their search and rescue effort, which they say is ongoing. But fear for the girls' safety and anger at the government response is growing. Protests and rallies have been staged in several cities. Meanwhile, in Chibok, mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers wait helplessly, not knowing where these girls are and if they'll ever come home.
The world is aghast at the horrific situation in Nigeria after the kidnapping last month of more than 300 schoolgirls by the Islamist terrorist group Boko Haram. Out of desperation, local activists started the Twitter hashtag #BringBackOurGirls in order to plead for international pressure to rescue the girls because their parents had given up on the Nigerian government, which is shocking. Evidently, Nigeria has a government. I mean, I knew they had a prince. I keep emailing him money. Why doesn't he do something? Well, now, what started as a hashtag has become a movement.
Bring Back Our Girls has become a worldwide social media campaign with more than 1 million tweets being published using the hashtag.
The international outcry centers on a Twitter hashtag appropriately titled Bring Back Our Girls.
Hashtag Bring Back Our Girls has now been used over 1 million times.
Folks, it's refreshing to see the world get behind a hashtag campaign that has nothing to do with firing me. Normally, folks, under normal circumstances, I love internet memes. After all, the word meme is just the word me twice. And this one is huge. Even Michelle Obama jumped on the hashtwagon. But I cannot get behind this Twitter campaign because none of my friends are into it.
This picture is of the First Lady. I just think this is pathetic.
Let's do something real, folks. Let's not just sit here and think that holding signs is the same as action.
Do you think it's really about helping the people who tweet the hashtag feel better about themselves?
Exactly that. It's an exercise in self-esteem. Are these barbarians in the wilds of Nigeria supposed to check their Twitter accounts and say, oh, Michelle Obama's very cross with us. We better change our behavior?
Yes, terrorists in the wild aren't on Twitter. They're up to some nasty business. Obviously, they're using Snapchat. Besides, you do not launch a Twitter campaign to rescue kidnapped daughters. You send in Liam Neeson. Hashtag particular set of skills.
The most populous country in Africa, one of the largest economies in Africa, must be blowing out all the stops to get these guys.
The Nigerian government was trying to sweep this whole thing under the rug for the longest time.
Really? How big are Nigerian rugs? Because I can see sweeping mineral rights corruption under the rug, but hundreds of missing girls, we're going to need a bigger rug.
Many Nigerians have sharply criticized their president, Goodluck Jonathan, for his slow response.
Nigeria's president rejected international help for weeks.
It was 3 weeks before President Goodluck Jonathan said anything about the kidnapping publicly.
Just to be clear, I just want to be clear. Goodluck Jonathan is the Nigerian president's actual name. They are not just saying, you're elected president of a corrupt, divided country overrun with nutbag terrorists who have also infiltrated your military. Good luck, Jonathan. That's not it. It's his actual name. It's not a modifier. So the president of Nigeria took 3 weeks to speak publicly about one of the most horrifying atrocities any people or country could suffer. Why is he talking now?
The abductions in Nigeria were on April 15th, but the story did not gain traction online until April 23rd, when 2 Nigerians tweeted hashtag Bring Back Our Daughters. Within days, a new slogan, hashtag Bring Back Our Girls, was being shared around the world.
I owe Twitter an apology. You're not just for casual racism and dick pics. And for weeks, Nigeria turned down any international assistance. But now?
Intelligence experts from a number of countries, including the U.S., are now assisting in the search for these girls.
British and French troops there. Israel is sending troops, and the Chinese are also lending a hand there. So there's a huge international effort.
See, that's the thing about hashtag activism. It cannot force a crazy person to do something, but it can shame a less crazy person into not doing nothing. Whilst apparently driving a medium crazy person crazier.
Apparently there's a Twitter, what do you call them, handle. Is Mrs. Obama looking sad? Is that not pathetic? What the hell message does that say? It is just unbelievable. The sad thing here is that the low information crowd that's puddling around out there on Twitter is going to think we're actually doing something. At least she's trying, Mr. Limbaugh. What are you doing? At least Mrs. Obama cares. At least they're trying to get them back.
He seems nice. You know what, though, Rush? You're right. Sometimes the world has to choose sides. Let's see our choices. So that's Malala Yousafzai expressing solidarity with the victims of this outrage. What's our other choice? Oh, right, that guy. So that's our choice, Malala or Rush, the quivering rage heap who is apparently desperately trying to extinguish any remaining molecule of humanity that might still reside in the Chernobyl-esque Superfund cleanup site that was his soul. Find you in there. Let's see. Who should we go with? Who should we choose? Well, I don't know. Why don't we tweet our votes to hashtag you, Rush. But now that Boko Haram... But let's go to the real villain here, Boko Haram. Now that Boko Haram has the world's attention, what is your message?
If This is so hit.
So more prose than poetry, really. Sounds like they're forming a punk band. All right. You guys are trying so hard to convince everybody that you're such badasses. But all you've done with this kidnapping is highlight who the real badasses are. The kids you kidnapped. Compared to a teenager who knows that her desire for an education could get her dragged into a snake-infested jungle to be sold as a bride by some demented, stick-chewing cartoon villain, but still gets up and goes to class every day, fully aware of that danger. Compared to their courage, I'd say Boko Haram is a bunch of little girls. But you know what? You don't deserve that compliment. We'll be right back.